In this video, I'm going to look at when do we actually start buying the yen, or effectively selling the dollar yen, or selling the euro yen, or any of these other pairs. So basically buying the yen. When do we do it? We're sitting here with the yen at all-time lows almost. I say all-time, it's pretty near-term. Certainly near-term lows. You have to go back a long way to see it as where it is at the moment. This is a weekly chart of the yen. So when do we start taking action? Now, we've already seen the Bank of Japan and several ministers, Japanese ministers, talking about they are quite willing to intervene in these markets on a 24-hour basis if necessary, was the quote this morning. But hey, what's happening to these markets? They're continuing to, the yen's getting weaker. Quite rightly so in some respects, because it's got no other reason to be any stronger. It's being played as a carry trade. In other words, the interest rates are so tiny on the yen compared to, say, the US dollar here. At the over 5% on the dollar, you're yielding a decent return. What's to stop you selling the yen, buying the dollar or dollar assets? Not a great deal is the answer at the moment. What's the big money doing, I guess, is the answer there. A question that should also be coming in when we start looking at trading something like this. Well, the big money still, if you look here, it's still shorting. So if you look at the asset managers' money there, it's still shorting here, buying short positions. And in fact, even if you look at leverage funds, which often go in the opposite way to they're actually getting rid of their long positions. They're exiting their long and increasing their shorts as well. So everyone is betting on the short side of the yen effectively at the moment. Not just a dollar yen or whatever else, but the yen itself is weak, is seen as a weak holding. So when do we do something about it with all these promises, etc., that's coming through here? There is an expectation, if we look at the interest rates that are being sort of quoted, there is a, if I've got one on here, I'll just find it for you. Here we go. So the Bank of Japan, its current rate is 0.05. You compare this to many of the other majors here, and it's significantly lower, obviously. So why would you be looking to leave your money in the yen? Expected rate, just a minimal 0.1 increase expected as a hike. Now this has been sort of sitting there expected for a while, yet nothing's happened so far. Probability just 54% of that happening. So it's, and that's for July. So the near term figures there not looking particularly good. Why would you want to buy the yen is the question. So for those that are sort of starting looking at the markets in that respect, there's got to be something more significant to why and the how. Now the intervention could be a part of that significance, but it needs to be more than just a blip. We effectively, when we went back originally and hit this 152 area, we saw a movement coming away from it. But this was a period through October, November into December when we generally see the US dollar soften. Quite often for positioning, it's softening. As soon as January came, off it went again, and it's more to do with the dollar softening than the yen strengthening at this point. And since that point, really, even with some intervention muted and sort of even carried out here, it really has not made a great deal of difference. And my thoughts on this in terms of when should we short it? When the market actually is starting to roll over. This market is still structurally very much on the upside. We've got the high lows, higher highs right the way through it. It's not really changing anything significant to that point. And it's only when it starts coming through in the shorter term time frames when we start getting points like this. So when we get the lower highs coming through, this is the point where we can feel a bit safer with taking the short side. But for now, so long as the question is asked, I'm still either leave it alone because I don't like the idea of being in a position. I mean, if you look at what happened today, and we saw this spike down here, I'm not 100% sure I'm not at all sure what happened there. Whether it was an attempt at intervention, was it a rumor regarding intervention? And this is what we're going to get on this market. Yes, they might start doing something in the Asian session when it's easier to manipulate the currencies and strengthen the yen, but for now, uh, I've got to wait until the technicals show me otherwise, and the technicals are showing me the upside. So there's no specific you should do it on the X day or whatever else. There's a lot of risk coming up. Some of that risk might actually run. The yen is seen as a risk averse currency, so when risk is off we see the yen generally do better. So if that is the case at some stage, we might see the yen doing better. And I'm showing you mostly here I'm showing you completely US dollar, yen, but the same situation is for the likes of the euro yen. Now, there we go. So it's continuing to push to the upside there. Okay, so there's the answer. When should I sell it? When it shows me technically it's starting to go. So all of this time here is still all the patterns of a higher market yet. Okay, leave it there. Trade carefully. Bye for now.